Hey everybody, Michael Strickland here, and as I always like to introduce myself, I was the news videographer who was attacked by a gang of thugs when I was out filming a protest, and I did what I had to do to defend myself and prevent them from beating and robbing me. And I was the one charged with crimes and eventually found guilty of multiple felonies, while the violent thugs are considered to be the innocent victims. So here's a quick update here. Today is August 14th, 2019. For those of you who have been following the most recent details on my case, my probation officer has wanted to modify the conditions of my probation, but they were being a little bit vague and coy about it at first, almost like they were trying to claim that I had violated my probation by mentioning the name of one of my assailants as a possible suspect in a bomb threat that was called into City Hall in Portland a few weeks ago. Now, this particular individual, he was the very large guy who led the mob to attack me. He has a history of bomb threats and conveying false information. He's done time in federal prison on 3 different stints for those sorts of things, and numerous stays in county jails. So today we had the hearing. I hired Shawn Kollie out of Bend, a defense attorney, very staunch pro-gun rights guy as well. I contracted him to represent me for today, and he put together a great motion to oppose the state's request, the probation officer's request, agreed to by, I guess, the state by de facto, to modify that. And he basically cited a bunch of case law precedents here, stating that the probation officer had wanted me to refrain from mentioning this person's name on social media or through third parties or whatever. That was a little vague and undefined. The judge wasn't quite sure exactly how to do that. So of course we look at that as not only a First Amendment violation, a restriction put on me, but also Shawn Kollie had drafted up a bunch of case law things that relate to undue burdens placed upon people who are on probation, because the scope of probation can only be as it relates to the person's reformation and the safety of the public and whatnot, and this falls outside of the scope of that, and so that's what he was arguing, and he referenced a lot of different case laws here, and additionally in our thing here is we also requested for the probation to be ended, for me to be released from the probation, because I've been in compliance with everything that the courts have told me to do, that the probation officers told me to do. I've followed everything. I've of course had no violations. I'm not out there doing drugs or committing crimes or whatever. So I've abided by everything they've told me to do. So that's what we requested in our response here. And so the judge, for the most part, agreed with us today. The official papers here, hearing held today on probation officer's request to modify probation, defendant's response to that, and defendant's request to terminate probation. No action today. Request to modify and request to terminate, both denied. So I'm still on probation for another, I think, 8.5 months until May of 2020. But the judge agreed with us for the most part that the probation officers and the prosecutors cannot prevent me from uttering the name of the very large guy who led the gang of thugs to attack me. Now notice that I am still exercising extra caution and discretion by not mentioning his name throughout this video and lately in other videos and other things that I've said about this. I'm just voluntarily complying. I want to make a good faith effort to the courts, show them that sort of thing, and I don't want to accidentally run afoul of the conditions of my probation anyways. So yeah, we basically won, and the district attorney and prosecutor Kate Molina, who some of you may recall from some recent and not so recent videos here on the channel here, she had quite the sad face as we were walking out of the courtroom there. I can't help but wonder if maybe their next step in this, had they won today, was maybe she was going to try to motion for something for me to not report on things that she has said and done in the past. Again, this is all publicly available information, but she cannot be happy about the videos that I've been posting about her. But I have a right to do it, and they cannot infringe upon that right. And so for the most part, today was a win. Thank you all very much for your support. You can help by sharing information about my case, be it videos here on my YouTube channel, Laughing at Liberals. If you're new to the case, I encourage you to look at some of the videos and go to the VictoriaTaft.com blog, as she's been covering the case in detail. For those of you who want to help donate, I do have a legal fund on PayPal, stricklandlegalfund@gmail.com. I will put a link in the description here. I now have a Facebook page, Friends of Michael Strickland. It's a picture of it is me with my two cats draped across me. And then I'm on Twitter @LaughAtLibs. So yeah, that's the latest for now. Still no word from the appeals court. That's been 10 months since we had oral arguments in front of them. Still waiting for them to rule if all the shady stuff that happened during the trial is permissible and should be the standard going forward. And the general premise of the case, and that is, does a person have a right to be in a public area, exercising their First Amendment right to free press, or does a gang of thugs have the illegal right and lawful authority to prevent a person from doing that? So until next time, see you later.